all the details on the official website on the new features section, and it's all divided by different topics. So you have collaboration, data, visual analytics. So I'm going to do some demo and deep dive a little bit more into this. If you didn't have time to look at this website, it will be very similar, but today you have a Q&A, so you can have you can ask more questions to a pre-sales directly. But basically, all the new features are already described here. Okay. So what's new? There are new data connections, as well as collaboration features to share our dashboards, a lot of cool visual analytics innovation with tooltips as selector, and also some enterprise improvements. So what you need to know here is that we really want businesses to be able to do visual analytics, and we are constantly looking at the community where you have all the ideas that all the customers are submitting, and the product management are really looking closely at those requests to please the customer. So some of the top rated ideas were the tooltip selection, as well as the data-driven alerts and the table and join recommendation, for example. So if you have any more ideas, don't hesitate to put it in the community forum. So we're having a closer look at data first, and then visual analytics. So first, in terms of data, with Tableau 10.3, we introduced smart recommendation on tables and joins. Tableau is now using machine learning to recommend relevant tables and joins for your analysis. These recommendations are based on collective insights derived from the usage pattern across your entire Tableau deployment. And what we want you to do is to help you to find the right tables immediately. Bringing machine learning and artificial intelligence into BI and analytics is inevitable. Everyone is talking about it right now, and Tableau is investing in this area, and we want to show you how we are bringing machine learning in Tableau. We believe that the true power of machine learning will come in the form of assisting people through the cycle of analysis to make the process more efficient and accessible for more users, which where these recommendations comes in. So sometimes with on-premise data, you just connect, for example, we have, for example, Salesforce in a Microsoft SQL Server, and we have 10 fields, 10 tables that are called opportunity C, opportunity 1, opportunity AC, and nobody, I mean, if you don't know all those tables and the structure of all the data behind, you don't know which is the one which is relevant. So this recommended table will be based on all the usage of the most used table on your Tableau server. So you need Tableau server to use this, and Tableau will suggest you the recommended one. The point of this, the goal is to get faster into your data preparation. You won't need to search for the right table. You probably will be able to leverage the recommended one. And so I'm going to show you how we do that. So in Tableau. So here I'm going to connect directly into a MySQL server. Sorry. Oh, it's another file that I need. Okay. So here on the top left, you can see I'm connected to MySQL server, and then I'm doing a cross-database join with another file. And Tableau is giving me some recommended one. What does it mean? It means that in this SQL server, I have 11 tables: customer, demographic, product location. But I am new, I just connect to my data, and I don't know which one is the most important. So I'm going to rely on Tableau to tell me which of these tables has been used the most within Tableau server. There are some conditions to use this smart recommendation. You need to be logged in into Tableau server, and also the recommendations are done by site. So as you may know, you have Tableau server, and then you have different sites within Tableau server. So your recommendation will be site specific. After that, you can continue to play around and add other tables that are coming from other data source. So yeah, basically this is the smart recommendation one. Just giving you some ideas of how to use it. You have to be logged in Tableau server. It uses the usage metrics of the server, so it doesn't work on a new database. So if it's the first time that you're connecting to a certain database, you cannot do any statistics on the usage, so it would not appear. There is also a 25 hours training period, so if you just get started with Tableau server, you probably need to wait 1 day or two before this feature to work. It doesn't work on fat files. It's slow with metadata connections and most cloud data connectors. And joins default between tables are smarter than previously done. And we believe that people spend more than 80% of their effort doing data prep. So this is all going to make it easier and faster for on-premise data. So if you have any question, again, feel free to ask it in the Q&A box. Next features are the new connections. So we have 5 main ones. 2 of them on this slide. OneDrive. So you can directly connect now with OneDrive and Dropbox. Not with everything you have there, mainly on CSV, Excel, JSON, and text files. And we also support open authorization. You download the file as a shadow copy, like we do in Excel. There is also a box connection coming soon. And for those connections, you will be prompted for credential every time you restart Tableau. Then we have a PDF connector. So you must wonder why we would need a PDF connector, but actually a lot of data are trapped in the PDF format. A lot of academic researchers and academic papers are written into LaTeX, which is a well-defined syntax for describing tables. Researchers often include key tables in their paper, which is hard to extract with Tableau. So, and there are a lot of government and consulting forms that are distributed in PDF files. So this one can be useful. Tableau will scan the PDF file for a single page, all or start-end range. The OCR type are not supported, and so if you have a picture of a table that are put into PDF, it won't work. It has to be kind of a table that has been transformed into a PDF. So this is example of a PDF that doesn't work well with Tableau, with the new Tableau PDF connector. The reason why is because it's not done for irregularly formatted table. You have to make it a bit Tableau friendly or have a Tableau friendly PDF. So if you have subheader, word wrapping, totals, or subtotals, it might not work well. What you want to look at, this one is also an example that doesn't work well. I'm just going to show you an example of the type of PDF we're looking at. So this is a good PDF. This one as well. So you see this PDF has a lot of text. However, at some point, you will have maybe an interesting page with uh, the data that you want to retrieve, and you might be able to use the Tableau data interpreter. This is another example. So you can say to Tableau, I want to start the analysis from page 2. And with the data interpreter, which works very similarly as Excel, it will remove the title and do some formatting there. Or you can say, take page 2 to page, until the end, for example. So how do you integrate that? And so I'm going to quickly show you. I'm just going to add and connect to the PDF connector, which is here next to JSON file and spatial file. Just double click, look at this PDF. Let's do a single page or maybe 2 page. Say OK. And here we go. So my columns are not exactly where I wanted it to be, so I'm going to use the data interpreter. And now I have my cities, rank, population, and commutes. This is how the PDF connector works. I have it here, all the bikers. I can double click on population and see the population by city for the bikers in these different cities through the PDF. Okay, so let's move on. Now that we have seen this, another connection that we have is the ServiceNow ITSM connector. ServiceNow is a leading on-demand cloud-based service management solution. It has a lot of different services, customer, facilities, field, finance, HR, but the one that we are focused on and the one that we connect with are the one in IT service management, which is ITSM. With the new connector, we support a static list of ServiceNow objects and tables, and we use the ServiceNow API to retrieve data. Actually, ServiceNow have more than 2,000 tables, but it will focus on the core ITSM tables. You cannot connect to the custom table, which you are able to create in ITSM, and the API only support local accounts for authentication, so single sign-on is not supported by the connector. It is still exciting, and one of your customer might be interested in this. Then we also have the Amazon Athena connector. We have released this connector which is doing an interactive query service that makes it easy to analyze data quickly and directly in Amazon S3 without moving the data to Redshift or provisioning it in Hadoop. The key user scenarios would be that a customer has a lot of data in S3, and the data is not yet provisioned in Hadoop or Redshift, and it will take a while to get it there. So the IT is not interested in doing so. So you need to explore this data to decide whether it should be done in Hadoop, Impala, or Redshift. and you can't make a smart decision on it. So you can connect to any Amazon database with a couple of clicks and provide all users a direct to access the Amazon S3 for interactive code-free visual analytics. Tableau historically have a very strong partnership with Amazon. Actually, our CEO currently is was one of the director of Amazon AWS. So we want to help our customer to use Tableau and Amazon at the enterprise scale together. Also mentioning that Power BI does not have this connector because it's probably mostly focusing on Microsoft database connections. Okay, then another popular connector, MongoDB is the most popular document store DBMS. It allows data to be stored without adhering to a fixed schema. And previously, 2 years ago, we tried to make a connector to MongoDB, but now we can actually connect to the BI connector of MongoDB. So it connects MongoDB BI connector instead of directly to MongoDB. So it's kind of a connection to a connection. And the username and password are the only accepted authentication. So if you want more detail about this one, you can look online or ask us directly. Now let's go into analytics. There are some exciting features: tooltip selection, latest date preset for filters, and distribute on dashboard, and apply table calculation filter to the total you have created. So I'm going to show these ones in a demo. The tooltip selection is really select all items like this one. So in this example, you can see there the global temperature, and you usually have a tooltip inside. This is probably a true-false statement saying what is above median or under median, and everything that is above median now will be selected in the V's. So I'm going to show you this with a funny dashboard that we got. It's a beer selection. Yeah. So we have a lot of different type of beers, and we can hover over the beers, and I know if they're white, blonde, what type of beer they are. The new cool feature is that when you click on one of the beer, let's say this one, you hover over, and then you have this tooltip. I can now click on one of the fields, and it will highlight all the other white ones, or let's say not bitter. So I want to know what other beers are not bitter, and it selects. Or I want to know all the other beers which have low alcohol content. Or I want to know all the beers which are rated B minus. So you can imagine like a lot of different use cases for this, right? I'm going to show you the sheet behind it. It's really like a regular tooltip where you have inserted the fields inside, and the only difference now is this allow selection by category little checkbox. Okay, so this is what gives you this interaction. So there are some conditions for this tooltip selection to work. It works for discrete fields. It's off by default for upgraded sheets. So because it's a new feature on 10.3, if you're on 10.1, it will be off by default if you upgrade your old workbooks. However, it will be on by default for new sheets. You can tick it on and off anyway, turn it off or on whenever you need it. Another useful for certain people feature in terms of analytics, when you want to have up-to-date data in your viz and you want to select filter to display, for example, the latest date value automatically as soon as your workbook opens, we now have this option which is filter to latest date value when the workbook is open. Okay, I'm going to show you how it looks in Tableau. So if you have any question, again, please feel free to ask in the Q&A box. Okay, so what am I doing here? Here, let's create a new sheet. So I just put the order date, but I want to, when I want to filter, for example, let's have sales by category, and I want to know what will be the latest date, or I want to give, let's say, in terms of years, the latest value. So if you have several years, several months, several days, I just want the last one to appear. So I tell the Tableau, filter to the latest date value when workbook is open. So instead of clicking myself on the last one, Tableau will filter to the latest date value. For years, it might not look really relevant, but if you try to filter by month, day, year, then you have a lot. You have a lot here of dates, right? You have 2013 to 2016 dates. But I just want my workbook to always update to the latest one. So I have this option now, and I click OK, and now this filter is applied, and it's on the latest date. Here we go. Some conditions. This latest date for filter works only with discrete dates. It will be the latest real date in your data set, and it's for single, only one selection. So it depends on only relevant values as well. And so for example, if you choose a date part, such as month, the date part selected will be the latest month that exists in the real dates that you have in the data source. Distribute evenly. This is another feature. Tableau will now, in the dashboard, evenly distribute the different sheets when you are putting the different sheet in a layout container. It will distribute the width or the height of the object inside the layout container evenly. It does not distribute evenly the sheets and columns of multiple sheets, just the sheets measurement themselves. But it can help you a lot because it's a good improvement to save time on dashboard. I'm going to show you now. So this is my distribute evenly dashboard, and let's say I have put some, I'm just putting it again. For example, I drag number 1, number 2, number 3 within the same layout container. Okay, so the layout container objects are here, horizontal or vertical. So for this feature to work, you have to put it into the layout container. You can see here that it's inside, those three sheets are inside the layout container. And imagine I want something that looks better, but I don't want to bother with clicking here, and I don't know what's the width of this sheet and this sheet. So I'm just going to double click on one sheet to get the layout container, and now I have the option here, which is called distribute evenly. So I'm going to click on this, and now each sheet have the same width. Okay, and this is not changing while it's ticked. So actually, I cannot really move them anymore by myself. I have to untick the distribute evenly feature if I want it to change. Okay. One of the last analytics feature today, apply to total. So it has been requested by a few major accounts. Total seems to be an area of controversy, and we had to fix this. So when users filter on a table calculation, they may want this filter to apply to totals. And this feature allows the user to specify if the table calculation filter should apply to the table calculation total or not. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let's say I have a regular table, okay, with all the dates, some sales number, and I have filtered by order date. What I want to do, so I'm using this last table calculation, but it can be any table calculation. This new feature is working on table calculation, and we have the total here. So I might remove it once just to show. So the new feature applies on the total, right? So we want the total to be here. And what happened right now is that if I have this last on filter, it means that I want the last, maybe the last column to appear. And then I click apply on the last this. So January is empty because it's a difference. I can remove that table calculation. Okay. So you see I have this last table calculation that shows me the first 3 months, but it's a little bit annoying because all the totals are here. So I can add more or less months to show, but the totals are still here. Well, that's why in the new feature, you can, so it's not inside here, it's here, apply to total, and the filter of the table calculation will apply to total. Here we go. We don't have the totals anymore. It's all clean. It's a narrow use case, but it's actually sometimes used. It's pretty useful. Finally, we're going to the enterprise side. We have, with every release, we include new features that help you to better scale and manage Tableau across your enterprise. In Tableau 10.3, we improve web authoring, API update, given more accessibility support. And today we're just going to talk about data-driven alerts, story points on the web, Tableau Bridge, and we already talked about the tables and joins. So I'm going to have a little pause now just to see if there is any question. So I'm going to stop for 1 second. Okay, so there are people asking for, will we be able to access recorded version of this presentation? So the answer is yes. I'm going to show you. You can probably go to the partner site. So I don't know if it's the first time that you're accessing or participating to the partner skill pills. I'm going to show you. Here for all the partners, you have a partner resource center, okay? And this is the skill pill webinar series. You should have a login if you're an official Tableau partner. And you will click on Asia Pacific. And here you can see the previous month recording are here, the recording or the presentation. Okay, so let's continue on the enterprise feature. Data-driven alerts. This is one of the top customer requested feature. Data-driven alerts will allow Tableau server users to quickly alert and notify themselves or other users by email when a metric on a specific data point exceeds or meets a specific threshold. Site administrator can enable or disable this capability and control the frequency with which Tableau server check alerts. Before, you could receive alerts with Tableau, but you had to go through a third-party tool. And now it's within Tableau. You can stay on the top of your business with data-driven alerts and be automatically notified of any important change in the data you care. So I'm going to show you. So you will receive an email schedule. It can be a one-time email or a continuous um, flow of email whenever the target is met, for example, the condition is met. The condition is based on access, and you can subscribe others. You can add multiple recipients, and you can set the frequency of the alerts. This is a very basic one type of email that you receive. So I did a very basic graph where I put an alert. So it should send me an alert when it reaches 800K, and I received this email. So I can then click, or I'm just notified by email whenever it reaches the threshold. You can manage all the alerts in the user tab if you are admin, and alerts can also run continuously. So it takes a bit of load on the server and for the processing and the backgrounder, and I think it's good for organizations that are all on Reader right now. So if your clients are using Tableau Reader, they can obviously not use this, but if they really need to have an alert whenever a metric reach a certain point, going to Tableau Online or Tableau Server will help them to get an alert anytime. and a personalized one. So you can manage the different alerts, and I'm going to show you how it looks on Tableau server. So if you have any question again, please feel free to ask in the Q&A box. So there are several blog posts. Okay, so I will share this dashboard, but you won't be able to access certain data source because they are ours, and we have our credentials there. But you see the concept. And here I can publish it on server and then establish a target. So I'm going directly on server to save some time. Here. And I actually built this from scratch in Tableau server. So I'm going to do it again very quickly. So this was a test. You can go to data source. Let's say new workbook. So I'm just choosing a data source, let's say. I'm creating a new workbook. Double click on cells. So I'm using the web authoring feature now. Let's say by segment. Okay, and by region. Okay, great. Maybe I want a label. Okay, so that's very basic authoring, but as you can see, I'm creating it from scratch in Tableau server. So I'm happy with this. This is my V. I save a copy, and I'm going to call it test partner alert demo. Okay, let's see where it is. I have it here. So imagine I am just a user, Tableau user, who is allowed to see, who creates a dashboard from scratch in Tableau server. And now I will be able to create my own alert. So Tableau tells me to select a numeric chart. So I have to select, I only have one here, but it's the cells. Okay, so now that I have selected the cells, I can click on alert. And I'm going to say, okay, Tableau, please let me know and send me an email when it reaches this threshold. And I can receive it once, as frequently as possible, hourly, daily, or weekly. And I can add other people here. I can create an alert here. Alert successfully created. And then I can see in the task. So I have some refreshes and alerts. So here I have my two alerts that I can edit again if needed or change the owner eventually. Okay? Next, a very exciting innovation in Tableau 10.3. We have Tableau Bridge. So Tableau Bridge is for Tableau Online. It's kind of a mix between online sync client and the new live query feature that we are integrating. So in Tableau Online, if you were used to use the online sync client to refresh your extracts, now you won't see online sync client, you will see Tableau Bridge instead. So it's a replacement. The difference is that Tableau Bridge will give you the opportunity to live query on on-premise data. Right now, it's not um, it's not live. It's on beta, so you can have this new feature on a beta if you apply for it. But for now, it's just going to be your Tableau, the replacement for your online sync client. So what is great here is that Tableau Bridge gives Tableau Online site administrator visibility on on-premise data source and how they are being used. So before in Tableau Online, you could only have live connection with a certain cloud data, but you will have live connection with on-premise data. And so it's really great because it means that you can position Tableau Online regardless if your client's data is on-prem or in the cloud. So what's new here? We have a live, so as I said before, live on on-premise data. It doesn't compromise your firewall. There's absolutely no change for the refreshes option. And the live query is powered by WebSockets, same transport as used by some chat clients. It's secure. All traffic is encrypted using TLS, and bridge open outbound communication. So it's really to make your client visits to maintain a live connection with their data, running the bridge at large scale um, with Tableau Online. So if you want more questions, please feel free to ask in the Q&A box. The live connection is not available right now. It's available on beta, and you will have to select. You have the choice between create an extract or maintain a live connection once you publish something from Tableau Bridge, which is actually when you publish something from Tableau Desktop. I'm going to show you the change here. So let's say I have created a graph. Now I'm connected on server, but I want to connect to Tableau Online because Tableau Bridge is only related to Tableau Online. So let's sign in. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Okay, so now I am signing on Tableau Online. You can see here I'm signed in as Tableau Online. And you can see here the option Start Tableau Bridge Client. So publishers will have the same experience as before, except that they need to choose whether they want an extract or a live connection. Let's publish the data source and see what happens. I'm just publishing one of the most simple ones. So just as it's work on on-prem data source. So let's publish this. Then I should have a page appear. Yep. Okay, so I have used the Tableau Bridge, publishing complete, and then now they are just asking schedule, maybe schedule a refresh using Tableau Bridge. So it's really same as before, okay? I didn't have the option asking me for the live because I'm not part of the beta program, but if you want to be part of the beta program, go on tableau.com, get beta, and contact the beta team to be part of this and test the live connection with Tableau Online. Lastly, Tableau Bridge works with Windows right now. Linux and Mac compatibility is on the roadmap, but not yet. You have one site admin that owns this Tableau Bridge. It can run continuously, and you can enable it by site. Before going on the last slide, I just wanted to quickly show you the last story point change. So now in layout, this is a story point. You have different caption box, number or dots. So that's actually new. And in Tableau Server, you can now publish it. You can publish it directly, and you can create a story directly on Tableau Server. So let's go back to this one and select the data source, create a new workbook in Tableau Online directly. Okay, so before we only had create a new sheet and create a new dashboard, but now we have the option to create a story. So if you do this plus this, oops, I'm using the web authoring capabilities. Let's create a new one. This, and I can now create a story directly in Tableau Server. Okay, so that's two different sheets. You cannot do change the navigator styles and change the color, but it's still something that you can do now. Okay, so lastly, in terms of enterprise extensibility, so this is our last section, you have the JavaScript API improvements. You can now do undo and redo commands. Let me explain you what I mean by that. Well, let's take a random view. I'll probably find the view. Again, if you want more details about any of these, please do not hesitate to contact your partner manager or a pre-sales team. So here, when you use the JavaScript API, you didn't have the option to put undo and redo, and now you can. So we are working on the rest of the toolbar, but for now you have the undo and redo one. The other improvements are in terms of the REST API. Tableau Server REST API help you to manage and change Tableau Server resources programmatically via HTTP. Okay, so you basically usually would use this page, which are the API reference, REST API. There are several new API, and you have the list of all the different API and some of the new ones, like add tag to data source. This is new. Then you will have your REST API code. So what's new, and it's already there on the website, it's you can now refresh a workbook or a data source, and you can like a run now action that previously was done with via tab command only. You can also programmatically add and remove tags for data source and views. And apparently, the first one was really a big deal for customers, like the refresh workbook or data source with the REST API. One customer said, if you could refresh via the REST API, Tableau would literally be printing money. And so I guess a lot of large corporate customer will be happy about this one. You can also query tags, but not add or remove them. You can now switch sites, easily switch between sites, and you stop having to provide your username or password every time. And finally, you can query sites for regular users. It's an existing endpoint, and it now works for regular users. It returns only the sites to which they have access. So that's all for today. So this is my email at the end, but if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact your partner manager, which should be your main point of contact. Thank you for coming today.